Alright, hey YouTube, I got another quick video here. This is on the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, and this is in 9mm. Now there's a couple of really good reviews out on YouTube on the Smith & Wesson. I'm just putting in my 2 cents. And 3 things that I noticed. Some of the other videos bring up a couple of these, but I have one that I'm going to show you that is kind of it's an interesting issue. We'll put it as an issue because it's something that can be fixed. Actually, all 3 of the issues can be fixed with this. But anyway, all right. So in front of you, have an M&P Shield. Let's see. The barrel length is like 3.1 or something like that. The overall length is 6.1 from here to here. And then the height, I believe, is like 4.5 or 4.6, I think. And it weighs about 19 ounces. And the trigger pull is, and by the way, this is unloaded. The trigger pull is 6.5 pounds, I believe. It's a single stack. It's a polymer gun. And the slide is stainless steel. And you have on the left side of the gun, right side, left side, depending on which way you're pointing it. You have a takedown lever. You have a slide hold open and release, if I can do it. There you go. Slide hold open release, and then you have a safety on here. Now. Real quick, taking the gun down, you have a little notch out in here, and once you slide it back, and then you slide this down, if I can, and there you go. You slide that down, and then you slide it forward, and as you're sliding it forward, you pull the trigger, and then off it comes. And obviously you've got your spring, trapped spring in your barrel. And I just cleaned this because I just took it to the range. And I took my camera and I was going to do some nice video of me shooting this gun, and I forgot an SD card in my camera. So, and then putting it back is the reverse, basically. If I can do it. Alright, so we're having a little malfunction here. Hold on. Okay, so I'm not too sure what exactly happened there, but anyway, and it's the same thing of just putting it back in and then pulling the slide back, capturing it, and then around, and then release the slide. So I'm not too sure exactly what I did there. But anyway, so my videos are good for showing goofed up and mistakes. Anyway, so let's talk about the three issues about this firearm, and one of them is the safety. I don't care for safeties on carry guns, and that was the sort of concession I made by getting this gun. Was, yeah, it's going to have a safety, and it's something I'm going to have to deal with. The thing with the safety is that, you know, when you pull your handgun, you know, you can always plan to have your safety off, but Murphy's Law, you know, you're going to pull it out and maybe you accidentally engage it in the heat of the moment or under a stressed sort of incident, and then you have the safety and then your gun won't fire. And I know this from personal experience 2 times. I had somebody come at me with a knife, and this is when I was carrying a Beretta 92F while on duty, and I carried it with the safety on, and the guy came at me with a knife, and I pulled my gun, and he charged me. I went to fire, did not fire. At the same time, he threw the knife at me. I would have been in serious issue if he had continued his charge and not thrown it at me. So I guess that kind of worked out for everybody's benefit, I guess. And then another time, Same thing, 92 Beretta 92F, and I know this is a review about the Shield, but anyway, let me just give you a kind of build on why I don't like safeties. I had somebody that was robbed, and I caught up with the robber, and he had supposedly a firearm that he used for this robbery, and he went to pull this firearm from his waist, and I pulled my gun, and I told him not to, and he pulled it out, and click. Safety on, but he didn't have any ammo. Again, that worked out, I guess. Well, it worked out for me, I guess. Anyway, so I don't like safeties on carry guns. From that point on, I never carried a firearm with a safety on. Never, ever. When you're in a stress situation, you just don't think of it. I know people talk about muscle memory, muscle memory. When you're stressed, you pull your gun and you fire. That's what you do. Anyway, so I've been carrying this gun, and oh, let me get back real quick. The other issue, there's another issue, and this is a good concern because it happened to me while I was at the range, that this little piece moves, and I had it in my pocket, and it moved up, and then when I went to go put it in, there you go, that went in. So that is an issue, and another reviewer said a lot of people are taking this little rubber piece off and just carrying it, you know, so when you stick it in, you're not going to have that issue. And I mean, that's really an issue if you run dry and then, you know, you need to stick another magazine in, and then under a stressed sort of situation, you put it in and you rack the slide, or you know, whatever, and then you go to fire and you don't have another, you know, you don't have a round go off. Anyway, also, now this is a loaded magazine. I'm going to show you this real quick. This is something kind of interesting. All right, this is, you see that gap? That's one of the things I don't like, and I don't know if it's this particular magazine or what, but you got a little bit of a gap. It's kind of nice though, because you know it kind of extends it a little bit for you, and I am going to rack around in it. Okay, it's pointed in a safe direction. Nobody's over here, and up here you'll see, I don't know if you can see it in there or not. Let me see if you can see it. In here, there you go. In here is a round indicator, and it will show you the round, which I really like, by the way. Now it's empty. Okay. So that's an issue. So we talked about the safety, and then we talked about this little part. Now I'm going to point the gun at the camera. Obviously you saw it's not loaded, and you really have to kind of look very closely at this. And let's see if I can get it. And hopefully it's not too dark. There you go. Can you see something? Because I can. Now, I went on the forums and I looked this up. Why is my Smith & Wesson Shield shooting to the left? It's consistently shooting to the left. I think there may be something wrong with my front sight post. Oh, and all of these forums, no. The Smith & Wesson, they put out a quality item, which they do. They fire this gun at the range. They have craftsmen line everything up, and then they test fire it. So it's probably you. Maybe you need to get an established shooter, someone with good trigger control, shoot it for you to make sure that everything's okay. And or it's an optical illusion if you think that your sight is a little off. Well, I'm looking through the video viewfinder, and I can see it's off. I haven't measured it, but it's off. So anyway, that's something. It's fixable, and it is, you know, you can adjust that for windage, supposedly. I don't know. I've heard that these are a real pain in the ass to adjust, move, change out. That's something I got to do. I had it at the range, and every shot 2 inches over from the center. So yeah, so that has to be fixed. I think that's a quality control issue to me. Anyway, I've been carrying it in this DeSantis in the waist holster, and I think that with that, when you carry it in the waist with the small mag in, the 7 round, 8 round, you really cannot see this gun, and it gives you just a little bit more potency, I guess, if you want to say, compared to like the 380 I was carrying. But it carries very nicely. It doesn't imprint. I'm really impressed with this holster, and I'm impressed with the gun, especially for a daily carry. And if you're looking for the Desantes, it's a 106 I4. Okay, and so real quick, let's just talk about some of the other things. You know, I always like to do little upgrades with the Smith & Wesson and with my guns, and I want to do some things with this Smith & Wesson. I know that there was some complaints about the trigger on previous models. There was also a recall or something like that, and this is post-recall. One of the things that you can do, and they haven't quite come out yet, but you can do Trichicon night sights. That's something I'm going to be putting on. They're about $147. And if you do that, and you want to do it yourself, there's a company called Maryland Gunworks, and for $119 they sell you a device that will remove your rear and your front sights so that you or adjust them. Also, there's a company out there called Apex Tactical, and they do some sort of like action enhancement, and so I'm going to look into that. It's a kit that you do, and it smooths out the trigger and some other stuff. And also, they Apex Tactical makes a swap out trigger, and I'm curious to see what that's all about. It's like the smooth action kit was like $90-some, and I think the trigger was like $100 and something. I mean, if you want to, you know, you're looking at a $400 gun, and then you're going to go ahead and spend, you know, another couple of $100 on some things. Do you need it? And probably not. But you know, I like to play around with them. But anyway. So I was really looking at a 9mm for a carry gun, and I looked at a couple of different options, and I went with the Smith & Wesson because I was thinking about getting a Ruger LC9, and for the grip, feel, and also, what a lot of people point out about the LC9 is that ugly round indicator that sticks up on it. I mean, I just couldn't get past that. And I know people that have like grinded it down and all that kind of nonsense, but no, I didn't want to do that. And then also the awful trigger pull. I mean, I fixed my LCP. I put that Sweet Pea trigger in it, but the LC9 has a terrible trigger pull, and so that's why I went with the Smith & Wesson. Once I get the front sight fixed, I think this will be. And I think this is going to be a perfect carry gun. I'm going to tell you, I've been carrying this now for 2 months, every day. And like I said, it doesn't imprint. It's light in weight, even with a full mag, 7 and 1 in the chamber. I think it really, if you're looking for, you have a concealed carry permit and you're looking for a weapon, this is what I would recommend. And also, something very interesting. You know, I was in the gun shop the other day, and this woman was looking at a Glock, and it was 9mm. I don't remember what it was, and she could not pull that slide back. She was like, and so something that I noticed about this, the slide is a little bit easier to pull back. So if you have a weakness in one of your hands and you really want to get a semi-automatic, try that. This may be an option for you too, is that you can pull that slide back just a little bit easier than maybe a Glock. All right, I think I've covered pretty much everything. It does have that trigger safety on here. I don't want to say it's Glock-ish, but it's not. But I'm sure that they use some of Glock's ideas, where in order it won't pull all the way back unless you have pressure in the top here. So if you're down here, it won't pull back, so like an accidental discharge. See? So you have to actually have the pressure all the way up on here and pull back. So, and so like, you can see some hair in there. Or dust. So you can adjust the back side if you want, but it's the front side that I need to adjust. Alright, YouTube, thanks for watching. Forgot to mention, if you ever want to get a gun condom, Smith & Wesson provides you with one.